What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 Xbox 360 titles I want you to try. Now, with the Xbox digital stores and servers down, I feel it's the perfect time to talk about games that not many people know about that's on the 360 that are still fairly affordable right now, that I recommend that you go out and maybe give a shot on, because I think these games are really fun. I've got 5 games here and I'm looking forward to recommending these to you, and hopefully you can find a new little kind of game that you could add to your favourites collection. Who knows? But anyway, let's get on to the first game. The first game is a Sega and Platinum Games collaboration. It is called Vanquish. This game is a hyper action third-person shooter where you can boost around, jump around, and actually just like cause absolute destruction to your enemies. It's very much kind of like, people call it the Japanese Gears of War. There's cover based stuff in there. There's like a lot of boosting around. You've got a jetpack on your back so you can boost around. The suit makes maneuvering insane. Like, you can do some crazy stuff in this game, like boosted power slides and crazy stuff like that. This game is brought to you by Platinum Games. They are the masters of over-the-top character action titles, and this game is no exception. It's got a bit of DNA, a bit of everything in there. Like, primarily it's a super fast third-person action game, but it's got elements of like bullet hell shmups in there as well, bullet hell shoot 'em ups. So it's got a bit of a different vibe in there than your traditional third-person shooter. I think this is damn good. It's super underappreciated. When people think of Sega and they think of Platinum Games, no one really brings this one up. They always think of stuff like Bayonetta, for example. But people need to take note and give Vanquish a try. The next game is a sequel to one of the worst RPGs ever made. But obviously, you know me guys, it's a RPG that I kind of like. But this sequel is superior in every fashion, and that is Two Worlds 2. I was really intrigued by this sequel when it was announced. I had not played the original Two Worlds. I just knew the original Two Worlds based on its reputation. So with the idea of the sequel coming out, I remember hunting down a copy of the original Two Worlds and playing that. It was not a fun affair at first, but the game kind of grew on me a little bit, and I enjoyed the world building and the actual exploration part for the most part for that game. And this one really kind of just makes everything about the first game obsolete. This is the Two Worlds game you should play, in my opinion. It's very, very, very good. A really fun RPG. It's a massive open world. You've got loads to do in it. Is it the perfect RPG of all time? No. Is it quite jank? Yes. But is it just really fun? I think it is. I think it's super fun. I played hours and hours of this one. It really got its hooks in me. I highly recommend it. No one really talks about these Two World games. I'd recommend the first one just for a bit of fun. But Two Worlds 2 is an incredibly superior sequel to the first one. And yeah, I think you should try it. That's Two Worlds 2. We spoke about Gears of War with Vanquish just a little while ago. This one is straight up a Gears of War clone, and they can't hide it. It's brought to you by Koei Tecmo, and it is Quantum Theory. I remember this game came out. I think it got 2 out of 10 from IGN when it came out. So like everyone was just like, avoid this game, it is terrible. But I think there was a demo available. I think I played the demo of it, and I didn't hate it. It's very much Gears of War in its art design as well. You can kind of see it, but obviously it's brought to us by a Japanese studio, so it's got a bit of that kind of Japanese flair, Japanese quality in there. But yeah, I don't hate this one at all. I think it's worth a try. If you've played stuff like Gears of War, I think you might enjoy this one for what it is. It's very quirky. The story is ridiculous, but I feel like the actual beat-to-beat gameplay, it's still pretty fun. Not as polished as Gears of War by no means, but I mean, it's serviceable, it's enjoyable, and I think you could give this a try and maybe enjoy yourself. I know I did. That's why it's in the collection, and I do think Quantum Theory deserves a second chance, deserves people to give it another look. That is Quantum Theory. These next 2 games are 2 games that absolutely surprised the hell out of me, and I feel like they deserve loads of love in their direction. The first game is a Sega 3D reboot of Golden Axe. This is Golden Axe Beast Rider. In my opinion, beat for beat, it successfully brings Golden Axe into the 3D, Xbox 360 era, if you will. It's got every kind of DNA in there of classic Golden Axe. The difference here is, obviously, it's in 3D. The map is more open, the arenas are more open, and it's gory as hell. This is a not for the faint of heart game. It is super violent, it's super brutal, but I think that adds to the enjoyment factor here. Is it perfect? Is it arcade tight like the old arcade games? No, but what it is a super fun beat 'em up that adds that layer of violence in there that makes it a bit more visceral to play, makes it a bit more entertaining for me anyway, to have that bit of grittiness in there. It adds a bit to the audio and visual feedback that I feel like those old kind of side-scrolly kind of arcade games kind of didn't have. This has it, and I had a blast with this one. I think this game's really fun, super underrated. Again, one of those games that didn't get the best reception on release, but yeah, I feel it's a success in my opinion. It's a really good attempt at bringing Golden Axe into a new era. Give it a try. You know, it might not be for you, but it definitely was for me. It's got everything that I would want from a Golden Axe title brought into more of a modern 3D era. But yeah, I think it's really fun. I could say some bad things about it, of course. I can say it's quite jank. The camera's pretty bad. I think if you can get past those little kind of nitpicks, I think you might have a bit of fun here. That's Golden Axe Beast Rider. The final game is a game that I've been playing constantly for the last few weeks. This is an RPG. No one ever talks about it. I hear nothing about this game, and this game has wowed me in that its writing's fantastic, its story is awesome, and it's drenched in Greek mythology goodness. I'm talking about a game called Rise of the Argonauts. This is a kind of a mishmash retelling of the Jason and the Argonauts story. Jason goes on the quest for the Golden Fleece to revive his now lost love. Brutal kind of God of War-esque combat. It's nowhere near as good as God of War combat, of course, but it's serviceable combat. But what makes this game incredibly good to me is that most of your time in this game, you will be meeting new characters and having conversations and making decisions based on those conversations that will progress the story. And it's about those elements of this game that has really hooked me in to the story. The combat is pretty much a back foot in this game. It's fine, it's serviceable like I said, but that's not the reason I play this. This is all about character development, meeting new characters, making decisions. It's so much fun, guys. It's so exceptionally well written. The lore that they use from Greek mythology is so well researched and so well, implemented. I absolutely adore this one, and I've not finished it yet. I'm still playing it, but the elements here and what it is able to give the player in that its narrative is so well written and so developed. It's just so much. It's so good to play. Like I absolutely love this one, and this is a game that I picked up on a whim because I wanted to get kind of sword and sorcery-esque games, and this is a game that I saw in CEX, so I picked it up, and it's probably one of my favourite games on the system at the moment. Like I absolutely love this game. And if you have a penchant for Greek mythology, I think you'll get a kick out of this in terms of just the amount of lore that it has from that kind of mythology. It's so deep and so well written. I can't talk about this game enough, guys. This game is fantastic. The characters in this are great. You meet all the classic characters from Greek mythology and the obvious betrayals and other things that happen along the way. It's so good. I love it. The art style is quite quirky and weird. The combat, like I said, is actually brutal. Like, it's brutal combat. Obviously, it's not the perfect game of all time. It lacks that polish that you would expect from a game that has this much meat on the bone. It's got so much meat on the bone, guys. It's got so much content. It does miss that polish, but I feel like that's something that you can push through and just get enraptured in the storytelling. It's so good. This game, out of all these games, this is the game I want people to try the most because it's awesome. That's Rise of the Argonauts. So that's it, guys. That is 5 Xbox 360 titles I want you to try, especially Rise of the Argonauts. Like I said, what a game. A big surprise for me picking this one up. I wasn't expecting anything but a kind of glorified God of War clone, and what I got was immeasurably above my expectations. But yeah, I really recommend that one. I can't recommend it enough. There's it, guys. Let me know down below any of your thoughts on these games. Have you played them? Will you give them a try? Have you tried them before, didn't like them? Let me know down below. As always, let's continue to build an Xbox 360 collection.